Hello, everyone. My name is Cal Day. I lead product and engineering for Nokia's Cloud and Network Services business group. It is my pleasure today to welcome Amir Rao. AWS and Nokia have had a long-standing, meaningful partnership that is getting deeper and closer. Amir, would you like to introduce yourself?
Thanks, Cal. Thanks for giving me the opportunity. Hi, everyone. This is Amir. I lead our global go-to-market and solutions team for telco customers and partners globally. I've been with AWS for 9 years. I've held multiple roles. In my last role prior to the current one, I was leading our product management for all of our telco customers. I'm very happy to be here and very happy to be talking to Cal at the Nokia Core User Group. We have a very long relationship. It started in October of 2017. So all the dividends that you see and hear in the market hasn't happened overnight. It has taken us 8 long years to come this far.
Marvelous. So everyone, we are here at our Core User Group, the 2025 version of it. We refer to it as CUG. And it is, we're really delighted to welcome AWS as a select industry partner. Amir, you've been here for a couple of days. You've been meeting customers. You've been talking to folks on my team. What stood out for you over these 2 days?
So first of all, Cal, I think this has presented a great opportunity to connect with a lot of customers, the lot of thought leadership that Nokia is bringing up. Mm-hmm. I think 2 themes that resonated or emerged very strongly for me. One was security, and the second is the need from our customers to see more autonomic behaviors of the network. Right. I'm not just only referring to the autonomous application, but also blending the autonomy with the automation. Mm-hmm. So these were the 2 major themes that came out for me, and I was actually fairly impressed by the amount of thought leadership Nokia is putting into this whole space around automation, around bringing the different autonomous applications as part of your product suite into some customer production and really solving the end customer pain problems by doing that.
So as we know, moving the core network to public or hybrid cloud creates exciting new opportunities, opens doors to new possibilities. Faster go-to-market by skipping and having to avoid the whole heavy lift of data center builds. There's probably no better way to accomplish geographic expansion via a partner's edge, create new enterprise and industry partnerships, but it also brings real difficult engineering challenges, right?
You bet.
As we know, we've been working on. So from AWS's side, what would you say you've learned about solving and addressing those challenges?
So as I said, I'd really like to thank Nokia for the partnership. And as I said earlier, it has taken us 8 years. It really, first and foremost, it allowed us to think AWS cloud from a cloud continuum perspective. Mm. That we're not only solving for the edge, we're also solving for the hyperscale data centers that AWS operates.
Right.
At the same time, we want to bring a consistent experience for customers who would want to run a hybrid application, which basically means running running their applications using AWS on their premises, mm-hmm. and then being able to scale out in the AWS region, which this was the biggest learning, that it has to be a continuum. The tools have to be continuum. The Kubernetes distribution has to be continuous and the same. We cannot put the burden on our customers and consequently on Nokia by virtue of being the application provider and more often than not, the system integrator to actually create very specific implementation templates for edge and then a different template for the public cloud or an AWS managed facility. So that was the biggest learning. I think amongst other things, the focus on cost per bit. We all know that we're working in an industry mm-hmm. which has significant headwinds for revenue growth.
Right.
The data consumption per customer, whether it's an enterprise customer or a mobility consumer customer, is growing. So that means the cost per bit has to go down
100%.
in order for our joint customers to improve and maintain their bottom line performance. Then similarly, the need to be able to solve for enterprise use cases, and this is the work that we've been doing with Nokia for 5G standalone core, to be able to, for Nokia's application to be, as you folks are rolling out ability to roll out SA core and ability to roll out slices and coupled with your autonomous applications. So we wanted to offer a consistent AWS cloud infrastructure at the edge, at customer edge, or in AWS public cloud that can enable all of this. And last but not the least, I think it actually, during my breakout session today, folks asked about Kubernetes version. And this has been a bit of a challenge. There are some customers who would want us to stick to an old Kubernetes version, whereas we, both sides, believe that it's best to actually stick with the latest, but then naturally, we cannot touch these systems. Like, we don't want to do an upgrade every 2 weeks. Like, that also doesn't work. So for finding the right operational posture is a key balance that we have fortunately now struck, and we're still learning. It still is going to be an evolution. But at this point in time, I'd really like to ask from you, what do you think, what did Nokia need to solve for to deliver a high performance, a cloud native core network infrastructure on public cloud or in AWS?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll go there in just a second. Let me just add something to what you said. This is very relevant to kind of the conversation we've been having at CUG, 2025. And as you know, we've been talking about simplicity. And everything you just said about the consistency of what runs on the edge versus what runs on, like on premise, so to speak, perhaps a data center colo, keeping that consistent is a huge part of this, introducing simplification to the operator personas, as well as to service providers that, or systems integrators that stand these systems up. And it makes it easier because, as you know, you and I have been emphasizing to our customers that it is so important to stay current, or as close to as possible current, both on the infrastructure as well as the software stack that runs on top of it. So I think everything you said, kind of completely nails it. To your question, I think, we are seeing a steady intent and action to march towards CNFs and achieve cloud native maturity. As we know, it is the only way in which to achieve effectively elasticity, which is, of course, a huge promise of the cloud and a huge driver for encouraging and promoting customers to go to the cloud. Sure. So I think that is a very core element of it. And of course, there's interesting things that, together with our customers, we've already accomplished. Running Nokia's Core on AWS Cloud for Boost Mobile, Comcast in the US, and then I think Telefonica in Germany. So I think we've made early and good, solid strides. We have multiple instances of core software being delivered as a service. And so I guess, back to you, what's next? What opportunities does this open up?
I think we've so far been able to do a good job from a table stakes perspective. Yeah. This is how being vocally self-critical and trying to raise the bar for both companies here for the benefit of our customers. We've ensured that we can deliver a common Nokia software platform across a consistent and common AWS cloud stack, both by virtue of an outpost on premises as well as AWS regions and local zones. Mm-hmm. I think what's next for us is to actually layer this with more automation, more autonomy, so that, to your point, when the Nokia software application needs to react to a certain customer signal, whether it's an intent-based service orchestration or it's a slice needing to be created, the infrastructure can scale accordingly. Yes. I think that is where I often refer to it as being able to breathe in and breathe out. In an autonomic world, when we would expect networks to be able to breathe in and breathe out, that is both the application software and infrastructure need to be able to breathe in and breathe out. Mm-hmm. So I think the North Star really for us is essentially how do we realize that vision of an of a fully autonomous network as we continue down our journey. From your perspective, I'd be curious to hear any other big opportunity to help our customers. That something that you think which is top of the mind, which our customers could really give us a good exam question.
100%. I'm going to stick with, first of all, the theme of simplicity and introducing simplification into the operational heavy lift that goes into running a carrier-grade network. I think across the board, there is not any customer of ours that does not have those challenges. And I think our opportunity to introduce cloud paradigms, including running continuous integration and deployment, introducing for the customer to be able to consume not only our updates faster, security patches faster, but to automate that. You've touched on automation, and I think that's such a relevant point, Amir, right? I think we have an opportunity to leverage what enterprise customers have learned over the last decade as to the actual advantages of running a complicated stack in the cloud. These are patterns that absolutely the telecommunications industry will benefit from. It's a journey. We will have to work closely with them. And I think getting close to our customers and learning that and what they are doing is very, very important. One particular use case comes to mind, which is disaster recovery to the cloud. And we've worked on that together very successfully, I might add. And I think those are the kinds of things that become uniquely simple and faster by leveraging, the public cloud.
I couldn't agree more, and that sort of gels well into the whole cloud continuum. As I was trying to explain, this has been one of our major drivers to bring the new AWS Outposts on premises, so that essentially we want to get to a world where the customers do not have to worry about building a disaster recovery. The application could scale as and when an event happens, whether it's a capacity burst or a disaster, to the public cloud, and it should be seamless. And I think that's where eventually we get to a point where you get to real the benefit of elasticity. And I think it almost becomes a $0 DR use case, right? The cost of it is zero. So I'd like to just take this opportunity to thank our two engineering and product teams. I think
Absolutely.
You and me get to sit here in front of the video cameras and talk about the vision and talk about our customers that we're delighted to serve together. But there is a lot of folks who work behind the scenes, both on engineering side, and I would like to take this opportunity to recognize their thought leadership and their effort that they have put in, whether it's across your engineering, support, or system integration teams, or folks on AWS side. I think it is really their hard work which allows us to delight our common customers here.
Quite so, well said. And I absolutely echo that sentiment. A huge shout out to the teams that have been working on this. It's been a journey, like you said. The journey continues. And I think we're building, in the spirit of a partnership, we're reinforcing by actually having teams that produce things that are, I think, coming to market faster, putting it in the hands of customers, iterating faster, all of which becomes simpler when we use the public cloud. So it's all good. I would also like to again thank you for joining us here. It was a pleasure to have you here, and really I think we're at a tremendously pivotal time, disruptive change in a good way, and looking forward to the journey ahead with you guys.
Thank you, Cal. Thanks for the opportunity.
Of course. Folks, this concludes our Nokia Core Talk. Thank you for joining us and spending a little bit of time with us, and look forward to seeing you out there.